first, before we go to a page, we're going to look at the vocabulary we started last week. So first we have area. Area is the number of squares units needed to cover a surface without gaps or overlaps. Area is everything on the inside. Y'all can't see that because I don't have the screen on. I'm very sorry. But the people online can see it. So, area is everything on the inside. Dimension. Dimension is what the measurements are for each side. So, if it's a 4 by 4 square, that means each side is for something. Whether it's inches, whether it's feet, whether it is centimeters. Can I do what?
Can you tell the white boy hi?
He's not on right now. All right, formula. Formula is a mathematical rule expressed in numbers and symbols. So the formula for area equals length times width. If you're not looking up at my board, then you're not going to know what we're talking about here. Or perimeter is length plus width plus width. That is a formula. Length. Length is the distance from one end of an object to the other end. So this is from one end to the other end. From right here. The length is how long something is. Then you have perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around a closed object. So the outside of the closed object. That is the perimeter. Next one. We have width. The width is a measure or distance across from one side to the other. Right here, the width, how wide something is. Length is how long or tall something is. Width is how wide. Tell him to either use that correctly or he can put it back in his book bag. All right, so looking over that. All right, we've reviewed a little bit of our vocabulary. Now, let's open up our book. I believe we left off with the concept. We did the concept development, correct? Did you guys get to do the concept application? Who were my ones that were on Friday? Chris, did you do the concept application?
Yes.
No. Kalani, did you do the concept application? On page 215. And you mean the development? You did, okay, yeah, you did the check. Go to page 215, see if you've done that one yet. Yes. No? Okay. All right. So let's look at these questions. We're going to do this together. We're on page 215 in your math book.
I don't have a math book.
Well, you're just going to have to watch up here for now. Turn around. Turn around. All right, so remember, when I'm doing math problems like this, what does my paper need to, at the end, look like? Math threw up all over my paper. There's so much written on my paper that we just almost can't even tell what I'm supposed to be doing. Looks like math threw up right all over my paper.
What page?
215. All right. Let's see, can you? Yeah, y'all can see that. They see that. Yeah. All right, so it says, so the first time I'm going to read it, I'm just doing what? Reading it just to read it. To see what I pull out, what I know. We're just reading it just to read it. All right, so it says, Miss Copeland purchases new carpet for a rectangular bedroom that measures 15 feet wide by 18 feet long. What is the area of the bedroom? I love how they give us, it's a great question, because we haven't actually done multiplication like that. Okay, all right, so now let's read it again. Read it for a second time. This time now I'm going to change it up. Miss Piper, we're just going to put Miss Piper, yeah, purchased new carpet for a rectangular bedroom. So we know it's going to be a rectangle, so we know it's going to be longer by a little bit shorter. Okay, so we automatically know that. Let me use my pen. We automatically know it's going to be, because a rectangle, we know what a rectangle looks like. Jaden, turn around and pay attention. So, all right, so it says that measures 15 feet wide. 15 feet wide. So that would be over here. We have to put feet. By 18 feet long. That'd be 18 feet long. Says, what is the area of the bedroom floor? So area means what? Area equals what? What's my formula?
Length times width.
Length times width. All right, so now I can plug in my number. So I know my length. Yes. Do I know how long something it is? Yes. Do I know how wide it is?
Yes.
Yes. So I can do 18 times 15. Now, I know we have not quite done 2 by 2 multiplication yet. So I'm going to show you on my paper how to do it. But this is just going to be y'all are just going to look so y'all can see we're not actually learning the 2 by 2 multiplication at this moment. We will in the next month, okay? So we have a 18 by 15 multiplication problem. All right, so I'm going to draw me a box. And I'm going to break it up into 4. I'm going to take 18 and I'm going to change it to 10 plus 8. I'm going to take 15 and I'm going to change it to 10 plus 5. Okay, see how I did that? Y'all are just viewing this just to view it, okay? So now I'm going to take my number. I'm going to say 10 plus 8 and 10 plus 5. This is called the box method of multiplication. Okay, so now if I was to use colors, 4 different colors. Yellow and this one. All right, if I was to use colors and I gave each number a color, so 10 is going to be blue, 8 is going to be orange. This is just a visualization, just to help you visualize. This 10 is going to be yellow, and this 5 is going to be green. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that number, and whatever it's touching, I'm going to draw a line down. Okay? Draw a line down. Okay? And then the 8, I'm going to draw another line down. Because all of this represents 8 right here. Because of this right here. Alright? And then with this 10, I'm going to draw a cross. Okay? You would normally kind of color them. I'm going to use a different color than yellow because y'all can't really see yellow. And that does not.
We can see perfectly, you know.
That's okay. We'll use brown. We'll use brown. Okay? I just want you to be able to see it. And then green, I'm going to draw a line across there. Now, where the numbers touch, you see where my numbers cross right here? Right here. See those 4? Those are called your partial products. Okay, that's what you're going to multiply. The 2 colors that cross are what you're going to multiply. Okay? Amari, sit up, buddy. All right, so we have a blue and a brown. So what are my 2 numbers I'm multiplying? 10 times 10. Now we're just going to go through and put all of our multiplication problems together first, and then we'll multiply. Okay? And then I have an orange and a brown. So what is that? 8 times 10. Okay, and then I have a green and a blue. 10 times 5. And then I have an orange and a green. 8 times 5. So now, is that easier to solve than saying 18 times 15? Yes. Can I multiply 10 times 10? Can I multiply 8 times 10?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so 10 times 10 is what? 100, or I can say, all right, my zeros property, I take 2 zeros off, put them down. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer for that box is 100. Okay? I'm going too fast, ain't I? Okay.
You got it.
No, and he's probably not going to get it either way. So, all right, then we have 8 times 10. Take off 1 0, bring it to the side. 8 times 1 is 8, or 8 times 10 is 80. Yep. All right, then we have 10 times 5. We know 10 times 5 is what? 50, or I can take 1 0 off and put it down. I say 5 times 1 is 5. Did we want to start working on kind of this? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to give you problems, or will you can just make some up?
Yeah, I've got some, and
Okay.
I'll just send it back with him, so you'll see what we're
Perfect.
working on.
Perfect. And then 8 times 5 is 40. So, do you see how I did that? Now, each one of these is called your partial product. Partial product, that means that's one piece of the whole problem. Okay? Now, remember I said we're just watching this one now. We'll learn more of this later. But right now we're just watching. So now I'm going to take all my partial products and I'm going to add them together. There will be a problem like that on the EOG, yes. But they will have they'll have it, but we'll learn this. There will be 2 weeks where we're doing multiplication just multiplication, different strategies of multiplication. Between place value, between this 4 square box method, there's a 2 square box method. There's many different ways to do it, okay? All right, so then I'm gonna add 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 8 is 0 plus 8 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 plus 4 is
18.
not 18. 17, because 3 plus 4 is 7. So 17, regroup my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, we got 270 for that. But remember, when we're doing area, it has to be square feet, because that would mean that there are 270 small little boxes. If I broke this up into 15, if it was that small enough, and then 18 across, that means there would be a total of 270 boxes on the inside of this, because we're doing, so it's square feet. So you should get 270 square feet. So A. Okay? So if you see a problem that it has 270, but it just says square, or 270 feet, and doesn't say square feet, and you're doing area, then it's not right if it just says square, if it just says feet. It's got to say square feet. Okay? Area always has square feet. Okay? Because it'd be like if there was all these squares inside of that box or inside of that rectangle. All right, let's look at number 2. It says half of the square shown is shaded. It says not drawn to scale. It says, what is the area of the shaded part of the square? All right, so remember, let's go back. It says half of the square shown is shaded. So if this is a square, how much does each side equal? Well, the top is 8, so the side is 8 centimeters, but it says, what is the area of the shaded part? So if half of it is shaded, that means how much is this one? 4. And how much is this one? 4. But how much is the length right here? 8. It's still 8, because it is not broken apart. So now we're looking here, and we need to know the area, or everything on the inside, of the shaded part. So now, how do we figure out area? Area equals what? Length times width. Do we know our length?
Yes.
Do we know our width?
Yes.
So we can say 8 times 4 would give me what? 32 what? Square centimeters. Because this one is centimeters. So it is B. Okay. The number 3. Everybody should be paying attention. Amari, if you need to stand up, buddy, please do. It says, Keith's rectangular painting has a perimeter of 36. The length of the painting is 8 inches. What is the width? So let's read it again. Keith's rectangular painting. So we know it's going to be what? It's going to be a rectangle. All right. It has a perimeter. I'm going to put P for perimeter of 36. It says the length of the painting is 8 inches. What is the width? So we need to figure out what the width of this is. Now, here's Amari. Stand up, buddy. Stand up behind your chair. All right. Now, we know that perimeter equals what?
The length.
Perimeter equals what? Length plus width plus width. But in this one, we kind of have to work backwards, okay? Because we know what our length is for one side, right? And we know our perimeter. So we know our perimeter. We know our perimeter is, we know our perimeter is 36 equals, and we know our length.
You can get,
Hold on. Do we know our length?
yes.
Yes. So we could say, if we wanted to fill in here, we would say 8 plus 8 plus W, because we don't know our width yet. Okay? But how would I figure out my width if I know my length already and I know my perimeter? You could divide. But before we divide, what do we need to figure out?
The width.
Nope, that's what we're trying to figure out in the whole problem. We need to figure out what the total of both sides of the perimeter of the length are. Because if we know these two, we can add these together and then subtract it from the perimeter that we know. And that'll give us our width, both of our widths, but then you have to divide it. Okay? So, let's try that again. So, we say 8 plus 8 is what? 16.
Take half of 6.
Okay? So now, can I take what I know from my perimeter and figure out what's left over? Yes, I can say 36 minus 16. 6 minus 6 is 0. 3 minus 1 is 2. Now, does that mean that this is 20 and this is 20? No, because I have to divide that into 2. Because that number 20 is representing both sides. So you have to split it in half. So what's half of 20? 10. So that means if I added 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10, I should get 36. So I have 10 plus 10 is 20. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 10 is 36. So did I get my correct perimeter?
Yes.
Yes. So now it says, what is the width? What's the width? 10 inches. Now, is it square inches? No, because remember we're talking about perimeter on the outside. So it's not going to be all the squares on the inside.
Like area.
Okay, did y'all see how we did that?
Yes.
We took what we knew. We knew the perimeter. We knew one side of the rectangle, and we knew it was a rectangle. If it would have said it was a square, we would have known that all the sides would have been equal, so then that would have been even easier to figure out. But because we know that it is a rectangle, we knew that one of the sides, the width, could be smaller than the length or vice versa. Okay, Julia, you paying attention, baby? Yes, no, maybe so? Well, what's up, Buttercup? Do you need to move up closer? You're just listening? Okay. What'd she say?
Her pinky hurts.
Your pinky hurts. I'm sorry that your pinky hurts. Okay. All right, so now let's move. So did you see how we did that?
Yeah.
Amari, you're going to have to stand up if you keep falling asleep.
I wasn't sleeping. My eyes hurt.
Okay? You're going to have to stand up if you keep closing your eyes.
I wasn't closing my eyes.
Okay, Amari. I don't appreciate the back talk. Now, move on. We're on number 4. Are you with us here? Are you on number 4 too? Then I need you to get on number 4 on your paper. Right now. Thank you. It says every evening, Candy walks around her neighborhood. The block she walks around is the shape of a square. What formula can Candy use to determine how far she walks each evening? So, let's go back up top. Every evening, Candy walks around her neighborhood. Is that kind of extra information? Do we really need to know that? No, we don't really need to know that. That's great for Candy, but, you know, hey, a lot of people can walk around the neighborhood. It says the block she walks around is the shape of a square. So we know a square is going to have what? 4 sides. And what about them sides?
We know,
All the sides are going to be
the same.
the same dimensions. Now use my word. Or same length. Yes, ma'am.
Can I say what I think it is?
Hold on, we're not there yet. When we get there, we'll see. All right, it says what formula, remember formula is what you use to help you answer the problem, can Candy use to determine how far she walks each evening? So it says P equals 4 times S. A equals S times S, or P equals 2 times S, or A equals length times width. Or here we go. The P is probably representing
Perimeter.
perimeter. Yep, you're right. Equals 4 times S. Area equals side times side. Perimeter equals 2 times S, or area equals length times width. It says, what formula can be used to determine how far she walks each evening? All right, so each meaning one evening. So if she's walking, is she walking across? No, if she's walking the perimeter of something, the outside of the block, then we're doing what? Area or perimeter? Perimeter. If I'm walking my block and I walk each block each night, I'm doing the perimeter. Now, so we know automatically it's not going to be B or D because we're not doing area. We're doing perimeter. Now, that's what I want you to do. Raise your hand if you think it's A. Or no, put your hands on your head if you think it's A. Put your hands on your ears if you think it's C. A on your head, C on your ears. A on your head, C on your ears. I'm just trying to gauge where we're at. All right, A on your head, be your own person. Answer your own question. If you think it's A, put your hands on your head and be confident about it. If you think it's C, put your hands on your ears and be confident about it. Okay? All right. So, now, we know that perimeter equals length plus width plus width. Now, do we see that down here? No, you don't see P equals L plus W plus W.
No.
Or side. They're using side. But they're using S as meaning sides because we know all the sides on a square are the same. Okay? So if all the sides are the same, how many sides are we going to add?
4.
It would be side plus side plus side plus side. But what's another name for repeated addition? Multiplication. So it would be perimeter equals 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times one side. That will give you the perimeter for all the sides. Kalani, I'm up here, baby. Do I need to move you back over here so you can pay attention? Then I need you to focus on me and not on what's going on over there. So your answer is A. It could not be C because that would just mean that I'm doing the area. That would be 2 sides, or the side times 2, but we're not doing area, we're doing perimeter. So, see, they tried to trick you there. You had to have known length plus width. Or in this case, they were saying side plus side plus side plus side. Or one side times 4. Okay? With me, not with me? With me, great. It says, which statement requires finding the area? It says, determining the number of sugar cubes in a box, determining the amount of paper needed to cover a bulletin board, determining the length of trim needed to go around the edge of a bulletin board, or determining the number of jelly beans in a jar. Now remember, area cannot have any overlapping, okay? That means that if I'm looking at this bulletin board right here, it cannot have any overlapping, okay? So jelly beans in a jar, if you look at my candy jar right back there, is there going to be overlapping?
Nope.
If the candy is all sitting on top of each other, is there going to be overlapping? Yes, so it is not a flat figure, okay? So we're talking about a square, a rectangle, so it cannot be D. Because determining how many jelly beans are in a jar has nothing to do. That's actually volume, and you'll learn about volume when you get into 5th, 6th grade. Volume is the amount of something that can hold, the amount that something can hold. But right now we're trying to figure out the area. So it says determine the number of sugar cubes in a box. So we're talking about we have a box. And it's got sugar cubes on the inside. Now, they're overlapping because there's multiple on top of each other. Okay? So if you have a box and I say, all right, well, let's figure out how many cubes are inside of this box. That's not a flat figure. Okay? So, it cannot be A either. Now, let's look at B and C. All right, let's read them again. Determining the amount of paper needed to cover a bulletin board. Determining the length of trim needed to go around the edge of a bulletin board. All right, so if you think it's B, put your hands on your head. If you think it's C, put your hands on your ears. B on your head, C on your ears. Be confident in your choice. Whether you're right or wrong, it's going to be okay. B on your head, C on your ears. B on your head, C on your ears. You're just not going to participate today? Thank you. All right. So, now, let's look at some key words in our choices to help us see which one it may be. It says determine the amount of paper needed to cover a bulletin board. Okay? And then let's look. Determine the length of trim needed to go around the edge of a bulletin board. So, are we talking about the outside? This is the trim. Or are we talking about the inside, the amount of paper needed to cover it? On the inside, so that would mean the amount of paper needed to cover the bulletin board. Okay? This right here, when it says edge, the edge of something, you're going to stop and say, that's perimeter. If I'm talking about the edge of something, if I'm talking about the edge of the classroom, that would be the outside of the classroom. That would mean perimeter. So it cannot be C. Because looking at the edge of something, this is the edge of the bulletin board. Then this is the inside of it, the area of it, or how much paper would it take for me to cover this whole inside of this bulletin board. So the answer is B. All right. Now let's look at my pencils were typing. All right. Now let's look at number 6. Mrs. Gardner paves the sidewalk in the front of her home with square tiles. The area of each tile is 100 square inches. Which equation can be used to find the length of one side of a tile? Okay, let's read it again. Miss Gardner, or let's say Miss Piper, paves the sidewalk in front of her home with square tiles. Square tiles.
Area. Already. Like.
Square tiles. So we know that they're square, so we know that what?
Area.
We don't know area yet. We know that all the sides are the same length. The area of each tile equals 100. So I have a square. It's not going to be the size, but we know the area equals 100. Okay? It says, which equation can be used to find the length of one side of a tile? So we know the area equals 100. Well, what is the equation for area? Area equals what? Length times width. Okay, but we know our area is 100. So how do I figure out what my length and width are if I already know my area? Well, you got to figure out what times what is 100. 10 times 10 is 100. It's got to be, remember, it's got to be the same because we're talking about a square. So that means one side would be 10 and another side would be 10. So 10 times 10 equals 100. So now let's look over here to figure out which equation be used to find the length of one side of the tile. It says 100 divided by 4 equals 25. Because 25 times 25 would not equal 100.
And there's no 10 on there.
No. Okay, 100 divided by 5 equals 20.
No.
Why is it definitely not B?
Because it's division.
We're right, but we're talking about a square. The square has how many sides? 4 sides, not 5. Definitely not that. Says 100 times 10 equals 1,000.
No. Because our area is 100.
Our area is 100. 10 times blank equals 100.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. So it is D. All right. Now I'm going to let you try the concept practice on the back on page 216 on your own at this moment. Take your time, read it carefully, mark up your paper, and then if we have time, we will go over it today. If not, that will be the first thing we go over on Thursday during math. Yes, sir. Yes, you may. If you'll just take his book, but write your answer. Let me make you a copy. Benjamin, do you have your math book?
Yep, this is my book.
Is that yours? You just left your reading book at home. Gotcha. All right, let me make you a copy of this page real quick so you can mark it up.
Okay.
Because, you know, it just works better if you can mark it up. Okay, here's 15 right here. 16 right there. All right. Thank you. Sorry.
Same.
turn around, please, so she can focus on hers. Now, don't lose that one. Mara, you got work to do, son. It ain't gonna do itself, I promise. That's not my check. I understand you're in pain, but. Don't worry about it.
Right, so when it's like easy related, say less than 50, it seems to be, he can find it, but when it goes to that 3-digit or something over 50, where they just haven't been as, I guess, it's voted on that, I guess that's where I'm kind of, yeah. I wish, maybe that's where we start for next, even just with the, before we talk about subtraction, we might need to just know, understand that, that 8 actually means 80, and that, yeah, and that 5 is the 5 1, you know?
What'd you say? I was speaking to an adult. Give me 1 second. What'd you say?
Do we leave when we're done?
Yes, because we're running out of time. Okay, so if you've done your reading and you've done that math, you're good to go for the day. Jordan, you doing all right, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, great. This is the most I've heard you talk the whole year.